Hello, Traitors fans. We are here to talk about the season two finale, which aired Thursday night on Peacock. My name is Marcus James Dixon. I am here with Denton Davidson, Deltasha Ford, Rob LeCurrier, and we all have some opinions on what we thought of what went down. In case you didn't see it, um, I would click away right now because we're going to spoil you. The winners were Trishelle and CT from the challenge. They both share the prize pot. They get about 100,000 or so. So I'm going to ask each of you this question. Did the right person win? And before I go to Denton, we're all wearing black today because we're in mourning that The Traitors is over. We all loved the show. We can't wait to see season three. So we're having our own funeral today. Denton, kick us off. Did the right person win?
I actually do think the right person won. I think Trishelle in particular played the best game. She always had a pulse on what was happening. Her problem was that no one would listen to her, but she always was one step ahead of everyone. She was really the one gunning for Phaedra first. And I think she really deserved to win. I like that CTO also won because he was the reason they had any money. I mean, these
Yeah.
two people from the challenge were also the best people at all of the challenges. I mean, Trishelle was the best girl. She was the only woman that could cross a bridge. I mean, I mean, they really pocketed the money for the group. So, I mean, I wasn't happy necessarily with the whole season overall, but I do believe that Trishelle and CT were very deserving winners.
Latasha looking very fashionable today. What did you think?
So I love Peter, but I don't think that this is bias. I definitely feel like Peter should have been the winner. Because I feel like he caught on to everybody's game like early on as well.
Mhm.
So and he was very strategic in how he wanted to, basically approach like the round table and getting rid of the next person. So firstly, definitely Peter. Secondly, I will say that Trishelle, I do think she definitely deserved to go home with the win. Not so crazy about how CT went about, the very, very end, particularly with MJ. But, I do love the fact that, CT and Trishelle both shared the winnings. Yeah.
And Rob, are you going to be negative here?
Oh, sorry, I was falling asleep thinking about the finale. I was disappointed. As soon as Phaedra left, I felt like the show lost its spark and I wanted her to win. And but in that final four, Kate just kind of like gave up, I guess you could
Mhm.
say that. And I felt really sorry for MJ. I don't think
Yeah.
MJ played a necessarily great game. She played a good game. She aligned herself where she needed to be, but like Trishelle votes for CT first. I don't know why. Like I thought you guys were besties, and then votes for MJ so that she could break the tie. And I'm just like, I'm never going to get those 5 minutes back. Um,
They
so
dragged it
other
out.
than that, I guess I was happy for CT and Trishelle. But I was
I
kind
don't
of
feel bad for MJ at all. I think she made a stupid choice. I mean, she had a chance to win and she blew it. I mean, she picked Trishelle. If she would have
Yeah,
voted for CT, her and Trishelle would have split the money. But,
100%.
Trishelle, the reason she didn't trust CT, it doesn't matter who your bestie is. You're assigned traitors. That's why I don't understand, like, how could this person be lying to me this whole game? Because their shoulder was tapped. I mean, they didn't go in there with a plan to screw you, but if that's what they're assigned, I mean, so she had those feelings based on him switching that vote to Sandra at the last minute. So I understand where she was coming from. I'm also of the opinion that in these competition reality shows, I don't buy into like there's an undeserving winner. I think if you make it to the end and win, that's the point of the game. You deserve to win. But I
Yeah.
will say Kate was also really stupid. Like when she in the final four, she threw her green bag in.
Yeah, when they
There
knew
had,
there was a
there
traitor.
It
had to
was
be a
a dead
traitor.
giveaway. It was such a
Like
dead
Cherie
giveaway.
was murdered. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
she just threw herself away.
I
Yeah.
saw on social media today a really good idea from Boston Rob from Survivor. He says, when it gets down to the final six, once someone is banished at the round table, they shouldn't say whether I'm a traitor or a faithful, because then the faithfuls still have to wonder, oh, did we get a traitor out or not? Like, is there still another one? That would have, helped Kate out a lot because she was kind of screwed at the end when it was the final four. They knew someone was a traitor. Kate had
Yeah.
just gotten one vote, from Sandra. Um, I do want to mention Sandra. She was my
Yeah.
pick to win in this finale. I thought she did a really good job the whole season. She was kind of befriending the traitors, like Parvati and especially Phaedra. And it was just, that I guess that last conversation where her and Kate were talking about maybe throwing CT under the bus, and then CT heard about it, and that changed everything. I do wonder what would have happened if that conversation hadn't taken place. I think Sandra could have won, but then again, this challenge duo, I mean, of the final four, I think they did deserve it.
I think Trishelle and CT were smart enough to know. I mean, why split the money with an extra person if you don't have to? Like, why do
Yeah.
that? Especially if you're not 100% sure. I
Hmm.
mean, it makes actually no sense to split it three ways. Like, you
I
Yeah.
might,
agree with that.
at the end, you should really just pick your best friend and kick the third person off.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that was more or less, it seemed like it was more or less of like a CT type of move, and I'm like, strategically, that does make sense when it comes to like the money at the end of the day. Like, I do think that he believed MJ was a faithful, but he's just like, no. If I
Mhm.
split this money between Trishelle and I, like we're going home with more versus splitting it three ways. So I do think that
Yes.
was very strategic.
I
I
think you're right. That was CT's idea, but I don't think that was Trishelle's idea. I think
No.
she really, in that moment, thought CT could be a traitor. I mean, she voted for him. And MJ, Denton, you made this point. If MJ had just changed her vote, I mean, not changed her vote, but the first time she voted, if she had just picked CT, she would have been a winner. And everyone online is saying how, CT and Trishelle ganged up on her. Like, she's the one that cost herself that money. All she had to do was write down 2 letters and she would have won.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
want to just pick up on something Rob said. He said when Phaedra left, it got boring. I want to go back even. I mean, her personality kept it entertaining the whole way.
Mhm.
But I want to back up a little bit. I think Dan ruined the game. I think Dan was the
Yes.
worst traitor of all time.
I
And when
think
he
so
threw
too.
Phaedra's name under the bus, like all the bricks came tumbling down. The
Yep.
traitors were being reactive and like going after an alliance the whole season. If you watch season one of the traitors, their brilliance is that the murders were totally random. So people were like, who the hell would murder them? Like, what is going on? And they
Mhm.
made it so obvious that these two sides of the house were against each other. And by Dan putting Phaedra out there like that and poverty being so obvious, I mean, the traitors just weren't skilled this season. And Dan, who is this self-professed genius of competition games, was the absolute worst.
But I do
Yeah.
agree with just to piggyback off what you just said, Denson, as well as you, Rob. I do agree that when Phaedra left, like it did kind of, the spark in the show, the energy did kind of simmer down a little bit. I would have definitely loved to see how much further Phaedra, could have gotten, because
Yeah.
obviously, like she was extremely, logical and smart the way
Mhm.
that she played the game.
I
Yeah.
think that the turning point of the season was when Pilot Pete, Latasha's boo, did that trickaroo with the shield, and Dan fell for it. And that was the moment all those blocks came tumbling down. Rob, I see you nodding.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I actually really enjoyed the show more when Dan, Parvati, and Phaedra were in the competition and scrambling.
Mhm.
And those episodes around Pete with the shield and Fergalicious and all of that is when I was most engaged in the show. And I just felt like it was so exciting. When Dan was finally, he threw Phaedra under the bus and he was pretty much gone the next episode or the episode after. I
Mhm.
just felt like the show started losing steam. And yeah, I was just really disappointed. I think it had a lot more potential. I would have been much happy to see Sandra win, to have two Survivor Queens win both
Yeah.
seasons. That would have been really cool. And in fact, I thought I was spoiled on Twitter. I happened to be scrolling before I had seen the episode, and I saw someone say, like, wow, the two Survivor Queens both won each season of the Traitors. And I
I
don't
think
know
I
what.
saw that same post.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I've just been spoiled. And then, of course, that didn't eventuate. So Yeah, like the Traitors has so much potential. If you've seen any of the international versions, like sometimes the season can be terrible. It just depends on that one decision that kind of makes the, as you guys have mentioned, the cards, like the house of cards fall down, or the blocks, or whatever you want to call it, whatever your analogy. But sometimes it works, like season one of the US Traitors, it can really work when things are random and people look abused and they keep making mistakes. You know, the Aussie version of season two, they just kept making mistakes every single episode until the end. It was maddening. But that's the whole point of the show. So I don't know. I was a bit disappointed. I'm happy with Trishelle and CT, good players. I just found them a little bit not as compelling as some of the other players.
Let me ask all of you something real quick. So now, as entertaining and fun as Phaedra was, and I mean, she was by far my favorite person in the series. For me, I think Suri still holds the title of the best traitor among the best traitors. I mean, I think she played the best game. She didn't draw suspicion on herself. She was very kind to everyone, and she just made smarter decisions and who to murder. Who do you guys think is the best traitor out of the US versions, the first two seasons?
For me, Suri season one and season two, I liked Parvati a lot. I don't know. I mean, Phaedra had the standout personality, but I mean that moment where Parvati has to poison the chalice was probably my favorite moment of the season.
Yeah.
And she totally
With Ek and Sue. Yeah,
I'm
that was
definitely,
good.
I'm gonna say Phaedra. I'm definitely gonna say Phaedra. And I know the show is like the Traitors, you know, lie, deceit, so on, yada 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 yada. But something tells me that Parvati kind of has like that snake type energy in her, like naturally. I think and listen, sorry, Parvati, if you're listening to this, I love you. But it just still was like very snakish, you know. But I guess I mean most would say that that's the point of the show, right?
I
So
think Phaedra made a huge mistake, I think, also recruiting Kate. I mean, who knew that Kate
Yeah.
would be so awful? She
Yeah.
was just a terrible traitor.
She should have done Sandra.
Or
Yeah, that's what we were expecting. Phaedra to me is the best trader so far because I mean she didn't make it to the end, so that's a problem for her. But she's just there in plain sight. Had it not been for Dan and his ridiculous gameplay and stupidity, no disrespect, Dan, you're probably a lovely person. Phaedra sitting in plain sight in those at those breakfast tables, people are walking in and there's like, oh, there's no way Phaedra is a traitor. She's, oh my God, I love you, Phaedra. And she's just sitting there with eyelashes from here to next week. And
yes.
like just like, yeah, oh I know, like terrible acting, and no one ever suspected her. Like she could have gone all
Yeah.
the
And
way.
that was pretty much confirmed at the reunion. Andy Cohen asked, like, who was on to Phaedra before Dan threw her under the bus? And like nobody raised their hand. No one was on to her, basically.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
reunion was actually more entertaining than the finale.
It
it
was
was so good,
salty.
eh?
I
It
like
really
that. I
was.
love that Phaedra just still hates Dan.
Oh, I don't like that.
I
Like,
do.
So
I
okay,
think it's
because
funny. I
Called
like
him
the
a piece of
saltiness.
shit.
I really, really wanted to ask you guys that when it comes to like how upset MJ still seems to be with Trishelle and CT and
boo.
Phaedra with Dan, I'm like, I think this is whack. Like it
Yeah.
literally
Same.
was a game.
On Survivor, this is called a bitter jury, where you get voted out and you're just so angry at the person. And it's like there's two ways to look at it. And there was the reunion really dealt with this, the gamers versus the non-gamers. Like the gamers are like, I just see this as like
It's a
literally a
game.
game, like you're all chess pieces. And the non-gamers really took personal offense, like MJ and Phaedra. And hopefully they'll come around in the next, month or so.
But
I
don't
mean,
you
Once
feel
she
like
just
once
doesn't
it's
really care that much. I mean, she's a TV personality. There's something about Dan that's just a little like, I'm smarter than you. Even when he did so poorly, he couldn't even really admit that. He's like, he just kept reminding people how like his big shots usually work. And I was just like rolling my eyes. Like, I'm just like
yeah.
MJ, I don't feel like she had no reason to be mad, in my opinion, because she screwed herself. But I was just entertained by Phaedra's reaction to Dan because I don't know if anyone there like really cared for Dan that much other than Poverty and Janelle. I think they're his only friends in that house.
Yeah.
Bananas also went after
Oh,
him.
he was,
yeah, he was
yeah.
bitter.
I
Yeah.
didn't like
But that's
Banana's
bananas.
bitterness. Like, calm down, dude. You were the first out and you were annoying, and CT didn't
Yeah.
save you, even though some people thought you were besties and you weren't at all. And then when MK started carrying on with her really, really bad extensions, I was like, okay, you've got a lot of money. You're now more famous than you were before. Shut the F up and just get over it. It's just a game, okay? But I guess maybe she was playing it up for the TV because it was really entertaining. Like, that was popcorn, just watching her call people out as soon as they spoke. She'd be like, nah. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, do more of that, but that's fine.
She's worth a substantial bit more money than either CT or Trishelle. So
Yeah.
she lost like 70 grand. Like, boohoo.
Oof.
I
Right.
really loved John in the reunion. John
I
was
was
kind of,
literally just about to bring
John,
John up.
he was
Like,
standing
I
up for the
loved his
gamers.
game.
Yeah.
so
Who
smart.
who's someone that was voted out early that we would like to see come back
Oh,
for season
easy,
3?
easy. You know who I'm
Peppermint?
going to say?
Larson.
Peppermint.
Peppermint's my
Okay,
pick.
let me just talk about Peppermint for a sec, and then because last is a good one as well. But with Peppermint, she didn't get a chance,
Yeah.
and her talking during the reunion was really heartfelt and meaningful. And she's right. Trans people, there's a lot of people have never met a trans person, and this is how they interact with them on the TV. And I expect that she'll be, if they're going to bring anyone back, it should be Peppermint and certainly not bananas.
Yeah.
And Yeah, Peppermint was a cool player. She wasn't really that, to me, wasn't really that notable on RuPaul's Drag Race. She was good,
Yeah.
but on the Traitors, she really shined, and I hope they bring her back. And if not her, then hopefully maybe some other contestants from RuPaul's.
She kind of was at a disadvantage because, there were 2 survivors, 2 Big Brothers, 3 challenges, and she was alone from RuPaul. I wish she had a partner to play with. So, Latasha, talk about Larsa.
I just think I was actually surprised with Larsa. I'm like, oh, okay, she's no shade, Larsa. I love you. I'm
Here
like,
comes
she's kind
shade.
of a little intelligent, a little bit. Like, she started picking up on, who the potential traders were as well. And I'm like, okay, Larsa, I see you. I see you. So I would have liked to have seen her stay a little bit longer. Yeah. Because I feel like something tells me she would have been on to like everybody, even, Kate, like, I would have loved to see her stay longer for sure.
And Denton, who do you want to see again?
None of them.
I
I
Mm.
don't want to see any of them again. I think we saw this year. Kate was one of my favorite contestants from season 1, and we saw like what a colossal failure returning can be. I'm just not
Yeah.
interested. There's a ton of people out there to choose from.
That's true.
None of these people need to come back.
want to see Peter come back, but maybe not on this show. He'd be really good on Big Brother or really good on Survivor. Like let's have him do one of
Yeah.
these gamer shows and see what he can do.
That's a good point. And you know what, Marcus, as well, there's a few players that I thought were kind of like a nothing. They didn't really shine. They didn't really have a moment. I thought like Cherie was probably one of those. Like,
Yeah.
bit disappointing because she had a lot of potential, but she was very nice and got along with people. And I want to have more drama. Like, hopefully in season 3, there's 2 things that I hope the casting directors and the producers do. Number one, cast it really well. I want you to get all the type A personalities, the crazies, the loud people, and because I just want to see punches thrown. I want to see like just bedlam. And number 2, don't bring anyone back because what Denon said is correct. Like, there's so much potential out there for reality TVs. And by the way, keep it as reality TV stars if you want. It doesn't have to be random people that we've never met. I found this particular format of all these ex-reality TV stars, a boxer's son, someone from the UK Parliament random, but like, give us a theme and let's go for gold. Like, some more Survivor people, they're the ones that are cunning. They know how to play the strategy. Some people from RuPaul's Drag Race, Real Housewives are always heaps fun.
Also, New York. I would put New York on any show there is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
you guys know New York, right? From
Yeah.
Fever of Love, I Love New York. She's like the biggest hot mess reality, like joy of, like, she's the best.
Yeah.
She was on
She's on everything.
House of Villains. I don't know
She
if
was
anyone watched
great
that.
on House of Villains.
And
Oh,
Bananas
yeah.
was on that. What was he? I'm blanking now. Maybe he wasn't on that.
And Omarosa, her and Omarosa were going at it.
Omarosa, yes.
So there's so many people that would be great for this show that, I don't think any of these people are necessary.
George Santos, season
Oh
3.
God,
No,
that would be so
Mm,
much fun. Even
no,
though
Oh,
he's the
it
most
would be fun.
disgusting
I'm not
person.
into like lifting up disgraced politicians who got
I am.
by
Lift
fraud
them
and
up.
absolutely
Lift
not.
them up
Not
high. You wouldn't be able to lift up
I'm
George
not
Santos.
into I'm not into politicians on TV.
yeah. What did you guys think about the challenges this season? That last challenge had me like literally gripping the
Mm.
sofa and the pillows.
I just
I
want to fast forward through them all. I think they're boring.
Sometimes I do.
And they're pointless. It's like, but I get it. They have to like fill an hour. Like, what else are they gonna do?
I think I like half of the challenges, and the other half kind of feel like same old, same old. I do want to mention that the timer clock on the challenges, it
Yeah.
always comes down to the last 5 seconds, and I have to wonder how much of that is Hollywood TV
I think a lot of it.
magic
All
and
of
how
it.
much of that is real.
All
It's
of it is
bullshit.
Hollywood.
So they
Yeah,
probably
totally.
had like 30 minutes left on the clock, is what you're saying.
Most likely. But it's all like Hollywood. You know what, with the challenges, most of the time I'm kind of like Denton. The same thing happens with Survivor. Sometimes the challenges are a moment for me to go to the bathroom, check my phone, have a conversation, go and get a cup of tea, or fast forward. But the challenge where they were in that graveyard with the light was the
Mm.
best challenge I've ever seen on a reality show in a long time. I felt that was very compelling. Do more of those.
Yeah, I like
But
that
like that
one.
bird calling challenge, again, I'm not going to get that 15,
Yeah.
20 minutes back from my life.
I
So,
But I
didn't
like
like
when someone gets a shield and and they don't know who it
it's a
is.
secret. Yeah,
yeah.
those are my favorite ones.
Yeah.
I didn't like the slingshot challenge just because they all sucked at it. Like they were
Yeah.
trying to knock out the people who they wanted out, but they couldn't hit the target. So that was just it was bad TV.
The bird challenge was so whack to me. The graveyard with the light was definitely my top favorite. My second fave was last night. Yeah,
Well,
for
before we
sure.
wrap up, let's each say our favorite moment from the whole season. I kind of alluded to mine. Mine was Parvati having the option of poisoning somebody, and it was just so dramatic. Like, who does she pick? Like, do I do this person? This person's not grabbing it. I have to go somewhere else. Like, it was really riveting TV. Does anyone have an idea ready?
I have
Yeah.
mine is just like Phaedra on the defense. Like, I don't have to kiss your ass to get a rose. This isn't The Bachelor. Her tearing Dan apart when he came after her. Her going into the castle and saying nobody likes you, Parvati. I mean, just when she like because she seems like a very lovely, nice person until you cross her, and then her just becoming ruthless when her back's against the wall. Those are my favorite moments of the series.
Rob,
My favorite
Natasha.
moments for sure was John. The first two episodes in both of those challenges when he literally failed both times. I loved John throughout this entire season. And I would say my second favorite moment was when Sheree and Phaedra had the like one-to-one time, and she came out to ask Phaedra, are you a traitor? And it was kind of hard for Phaedra to,
Yeah,
look her in the face and lie. So yeah.
Again, it's like, what is she supposed to say? Yes,
I
I
know.
like
I
it's
know.
It's a
John,
stupid
John,
question.
John, where's your inhaler? Did you bring your inhaler today?
Yeah.
And Rob, close us out here.
All those moments are fantastic. I would have said those as well. For me, the moment where I thought, oh, this show's good is when Dan was finally voted out and he stands up there in front of the round table, does his little spiel, and then says, I'm a traitor. And the room exploded. And we did on the couch as well. It was a really good moment. Finally, he was out. And they finally got one right. And that's when really the faithfuls started to pick up steam. It was that moment, and I really enjoyed it.
also real quick, Janelle and Sandra calling each other bitches. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Janelle would have lasted longer because she was good at the game and she brings a little flavor. Like she brings a little salt into the wound, and I missed Janelle when she was voted off.
And Sandra with the pool balls, visualizing it for the non-gamers, like, okay, we have this many people, we need
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah, I
It was
like that
funny.
too.
Yeah.
Well, at Gold Derby, we're all about awards for the most part. So let's do we all think the Traitors, first of all, deserves to get into best reality competition show? I think we all agree. But will it get in there? I think, yes,
Oh.
it got snubbed last year. Also, Alan Cumming got snubbed for host, which was weird. I think they're both, the show and the host are going to get nominated this year.
The
Does anyone
thing is,
disagree?
like, I'm concerned because Peacock still hasn't really hit through, broken through with Emmy voters as much as it should. But surely Traitors season 2 became more of a hit, more of a, it was more out there, and hoping that the voters will remember it. Peacock and Universal should be putting a lot of money behind the Traitors to get it out there for voters to notice, because in that top 5 reality competition program nominees, there's some room there for some of those programs to maybe have a break. And I'm hoping, and Alan Cumming absolutely should be nominated. And in fact, he could probably really take it to RuPaul and actually maybe even win, because he's that good as a host. So let's hope that it does. It won casting last year.
Yeah,
So it
It's
means
the
it's on
most,
the
isn't
radar.
it the most streamed reality show that there is? I mean,
I think
Yeah.
so.
it's the top rated show. I would also add, I think Amazing Race is a little weak this year because
Yeah.
they're using a recycled episode. Like the last season, this upcoming season was filmed before the previous season. So they're going back in time to a
Oh,
COVID
weird.
era where they had to re-edit it into 90 minutes, and they're on private jets. They're not in, it's just not as exciting of a format. So I think The Amazing Race could be that weak link that the Traitors needs to slip in there this season. And I think they have a really good shot. And Alan for sure should get in
Yeah.
for hosting.
I'm looking at the nominees for last year's competition program. RuPaul won, and then it was Amazing Race, Survivor, and then Top Chef and The Voice. I would say The Voice is maybe a little weak as well because they
Even
lost
Top
Blake
Chef.
Shelton. So I think the Traitors definitely has a shot.
I
And
mean,
yeah,
it took RuPaul like a little while to pick up steam and get in at the Emmys, and then when it did, it
mhm.
just owned it to this day.
Yeah.
Except for
Cool.
that one year.
Any final thoughts before we say goodbye to the Traitors season 2 forever?
I'm just
Hurry
pumped
up.
for season 3.
Hurry
Yeah,
up.
bring it
I
on.
believe that I think the UK season 2 just came out on Peacock today, maybe.
Oh,
So
good.
Oh,
It's a
so
good one.
if you've got a little itch, I think there's something else to watch at least. It's not Alan, it's a different cast, but hopefully that's a good season. And yeah, we look forward to season 3.
Cool. Well, thanks you everybody for watching, and we will hopefully be back for more Traitors Slugfests next year. Thank you.